Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What is going on, people? Thank you guys for joining Big B Daily Show. I appreciate it, man. This is Big B, Brien Hanley. Monday through Friday, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. What is happening, man? What is happening? Good week, I guess, of football this past weekend. I mean, the Steelers let me down, man. The Steelers let me down. I'll be honest. I am officially out on baby hands Pickett. I am officially out. I was teetering. I know y'all were getting on me, going back and forth. I am officially done with baby hands Pickett. I can't take it. I can't take it. That performance yesterday, and don't give me this Matt Canada stuff. I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to hear it. Matt Canada's bad, and Matt Canada needs to be fired. I'm not saying that he shouldn't. But you can't blame Matt Canada for what happened yesterday. That's just poor quarterback play, but we'll get into that, man. We'll get into that. Let's get the show started. Let's get the show on the road, man. Again, as always on TikTok, we are looking for 3,500 likes and at least 30 new followers, man. So I appreciate you guys. Matter of fact, click on the YouTube link in my bio. Come on over to YouTube. And YouTube, man, join the live. Come subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube, and let's have some fun over there, man. So get podcasts, interviews, a lot of different access. My man Hot Soup Fantasy Football is over there. You get access to all his stuff too. So let's get it going, man. So NFL coaching hot seat. First off, let's interact here. Who do you guys think is on the NFL coaching hot seat? I don't think Brandon Staley's seat could be any hotter than what it is right now. Him and Riverboat Ron. Got to be the two hottest seats in the NFL. Am I wrong? Anybody else? Matt Canada's not a head coach, so he doesn't count. Staley, Vrabel, McDermott, Eberflus, and the hoodie, all on the hot seat, according to my man Dirty Sanchez over on YouTube. I agree with all of that. Staley's got to be there. I don't see how he has a job today, like right this very second. Like, why wasn't he fired? First of all, I don't know how he came back after giving up a 27-point lead in the playoffs. I don't know how you keep your job after that. But they gave him another opportunity, and boom, boom, goes the dynamite. And this is what you get. Eberflus. Yeah. Belichick. Yeah. Now, Belichick, I don't think his seat is hot. I think it may be heating up. Here's one over from my man Golf Hawk. Mike Tomlin's seat is starting to get warm. Yeah. Yeah. Mike Tomlin. And y'all know me, I'm a Steeler fan. We got to start having that conversation, man. We got to start having that conversation. Carolina's Frank Wright. My man Christopher Polanco says Carolina head coach, Frank Wright. Frank Wright wants out. He's not trying to be around no owner that is constantly in his business, having meetings once a week, bad-mouthing him, telling him what he did wrong. I don't know. I think Frank Reich wants out of there. So, I'm done with Brandon Staley. I mean, I don't know how he has a job like right this very second. So, And we're talking about Mike Tomlin saying he'll get another job. I said if the Steelers ever fired Mike Tomlin, he'd get another job before he even got out of the building. Before he got out of the building in Pittsburgh, he would have another job with somebody else. And that's the truth. But sometimes the message gets stale. Sometimes you just got to go a different direction. The problem with Mike Tomlin isn't necessarily even his coaching style. Well, it is his coaching style because he won't change. He's loyal to a fault. Matt Canada has no business being the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh. Matt Canada has no business being the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, but he won't fire the guy. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, and for him to not let go of Matt Canada, especially after that performance yesterday, and look, it wasn't all Matt Canada's fault yesterday. Baby Hands Pickett is pathetic. But you have got to make a change. Your team, y'all saw the Najee Harris interview. And if you didn't see the Najee Harris interview, Najee Harris basically sat down right after the game. They interviewed him, and he said, this shit's got to change. And I apologize, TikTok. That's what he said. It's not sustainable what we are doing in the NFL. And he's 100% right. It's not sustainable. Something's got to change. And that's basically saying, Mike Tomlin, you have got to either make a change at quarterback, which I think going to Trubisky isn't a horrible idea, and you got to get rid of Matt Canada. Make a change. But it is what it is. I'm also officially going to stop bashing Justin Herbert the way that I have been. I've been on Justin Herbert a lot. And I watched yesterday. Justin Herbert, obviously, he had a ton of talent. It just goes to show you how bad Brandon Staley is. Until Staley's out, I'm getting off of the bash in Justin Herbert can't do anything. He was out there playing by himself yesterday. I mean, what's he supposed to do? Block for himself, run the football like a running back, place the ball in his receiver's hands 25 yards downfield. He can't do it by himself. That was horrible yesterday. And Brandon Staley didn't help him. He's a horrific head coach. He got a job because Aaron Donald and that Rams defense was the most dominant defense in football. He got a job based on that. Me and everybody that are in the live on TikTok and YouTube, we could all have coached that same Rams defense and look good. We could have done it and look good. Brandon Staley gets a job based on that, and he has been a disaster as a head coach. He has been a disaster. And yet, they won't fire him. They're just going to keep him around. I don't understand that. So, but it is what it is, man. I just, these people, the decisions that they make, and they're professionals. Look, I understand that we are all armchair quarterbacks. We are all armchair GMs. None of us are getting paid by professionals to do this job. So they have the job that we all want. I can fully admit that. That doesn't mean we're wrong, though, does it, people? That doesn't mean that we're wrong. Just because we don't have the opportunity and maybe put in the grind, because I don't disrespect the grind that these coaches and these GMs put in. I'm never going to disrespect that grind. But because we haven't gotten those opportunities doesn't make us wrong. Damn it, it does not make us wrong. And it is pathetic, some of these decisions that some of these guys have made. So, but it is what it is. Let's move on, people. Let's move on. Because we could talk about the NFL hot seat all day. And when we get to the Q&A section, we'll do that. We'll bring it back. So, did you guys happen to see the Jordan Travis injury from Florida State? For anybody that did not, let me catch you up. Florida State playing a meaningless football game against North Alabama late in the year. Gets tackled, that little hip swing tackle that has become popular the last 5-6 years. Guy grabs him, lands directly on his ankle, and snaps his ankle. I mean, it was horrific. One of those horrific injuries that you see, somebody's ankle broken. That's what happened. And he's out for the year. I mean, it was horrible. His career's over at Florida State. He doesn't have another year. Just absolutely heartbreaking. The guy was going to end up going to New York to be a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. So we'll see what happens with Florida State. Now, the one thing that I'll see, and somebody over here on TikTok said it, it's unfortunate, but the backup at Florida State, the kid can play. I saw firsthand when Jordan Travis got hurt 2 years ago against University of Louisville. He came in and lit Louisville up and helped them lead them to victory. So the backup at Florida State is more than a capable football player. He's not just garbage or anything. The kid can play. But you're right, Dirty Sanchez. It's heartbreaking for the kid. It is absolutely heartbreaking. So, and again, it was in a meaningless football game against Northern Alabama. My question to you guys, and let's talk about it. Let me know what you think. What's this mean for the college football playoff? Does Florida State take a hit? Do they hit them for not having their starting quarterback, or do they need to see him play this week? Because the rankings are going to come out on Tuesday. Now, here's the thing. I personally thought Washington should have been ahead of Florida State anyway. And Washington beat another ranked team this week on the road. They were going to move ahead of Florida State anyway. I thought they should have been ahead of Florida State all along. They got a better resume than Florida State. They should have been ahead of them all along anyway. But they're going to jump them. Now, do you all think it's just because of this? I don't think so. But I think Florida State's got to hope that Washington loses, because if everything holds water the way that it is right now, Florida State's going to be on the outside looking in. But we also know that Ohio State and Michigan have to play, so somebody's going to lose. So if Florida State goes undefeated, I think they're in. I still think they're in. But Florida State, they're going to take a hit. Washington, like I said, has a better resume than Florida State. I mean, they got wins. Their win on Saturday is better than anything Florida State's done all year. So, but that doesn't mean that Florida State's not a good team and not deserving, because I think they are. But I think they're going to drop the 4 or drop the 5, and I think Washington's getting that number 4 spot. Is it fair? Yeah, I think it's fair, because I think they should have been there before the kid got hurt. So that's what I believe. That's what I believe. What do we got over here on YouTube? My man Dirty Sanchez says they've been the first legit non-Clemson ACC team that can contend for the Natty since 2014. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's what Florida State is this year. They're the first team, basically since themselves in 2014, since a non-Clemson team can compete. Florida State is that good. Florida State is that good. So if Ohio State versus Michigan game is a blowout either way, Florida State gets in if they win out. Well, Florida State's going to get in no matter what if they win out, because somebody's going to lose between Ohio State and Michigan. Somebody's going to have a loss. And if Florida State wins out, a one-loss Ohio State or a one-loss Michigan is not getting in ahead of Florida State. That's not happening, especially with their schedules. Especially with their schedule. I mean, Michigan's played Penn State. How good is Penn State? The only team that Michigan will have played is about to be on Saturday, which is Ohio State. We're not giving credence to Penn State being that good. They got a good defense, and that's it. That's it. So I'm just saying, I think Florida State is going, if they win out, and that's a big if, they'll get in. Because they got to play my Louisville Cardinals. Louisville looks okay. I mean, Florida State beat Miami by 7 at home. Louisville beat Miami by 7 on the road. Matchups mean everything. We'll see. It's going to be a tougher game than what I think a lot of people think. Because I think Vegas is going to have Florida State be like an 11-point favorite over Louisville. I don't think that's happening. So, I don't think that's happening. Does a one-loss Louisville have a shot? No. If the one loss that Louisville had that was like Notre Dame or something, yeah. You can't lose to Pitt and get in the college football playoff. You just can't do that. You can't lose to Pitt, who's 3-8, I think. You can't lose to them and get in the college football playoff. As much as I would want them to, and if they beat Florida State, that's another win. You're not getting in. You're not getting in. What are you going to say to Michigan, Ohio State? Hey, your one loss is to Ohio State. Louisville's is the Pitt, and they win over you. Come on. You can't do that. You can't do that. So that's just it's the way it is, man. It's just the way it is. What else do we got? Let's move on. Monday Night Football. Big game tonight. Kelsey Bowl 2023. Eagles go to the Chiefs. Who do we like? Who do we got? I like the Eagles. I like the Eagles tonight. I think the Eagles are going to get physical, and I like the Eagles. Yeah, buddy. I do. Now, the one thing is, if the Chiefs can protect, I think Mahomes, even with the lackluster receiving core, can pick apart Philly's secondary. Philly's secondary is suspect at best. Philly's secondary is suspect at best. But if Mahomes can get some time, and that's a big if, because the Chiefs tackles have played lousy this year, and you know that Philadelphia pass rush is crazy. But if that can happen, he can pick them apart. But I look at Philly as being just the better football team. I look at them to be the more physical football team, and I look at them to win the game. So I look for Philly to win the game. I think they may actually get after Mahomes, because I don't think the tackles are going to be able to hold up for the Chiefs. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think the tackles for the Chiefs can hold up with the pass rush that the Philly's going to bring. So somebody says Mahomes is better than Hurts. Yeah, okay. We know that. Of course Mahomes is better than Hurts. But that doesn't mean Mahomes' football team is better than Jalen Hurts. So it'll be interesting, though. It'll be interesting. I think it's going to be a good football game. Or I'm hoping that it's going to be a good football game. I think the Chiefs got to try to run the football, too. Got to get Pacheco involved. Got to get Pacheco involved. Dirty Sanchez, he says the Eagles to win and cover. Well, if they win, they're definitely going to cover because they're favored, or they're a 2.5 underdog on the road. So at least that's what I got it at. Eagles plus 2.5. So my man Golf Hawk, he says the Chiefs roll, Pacheco goes off. If Pacheco goes off, the Chiefs are going to win. I'm going to tell you that. If he goes off, they're going to win. So we'll see what happens. But I like the Chiefs, or I like the Eagles to win this football game. I like the Eagles to win this football game. So again, as a reminder, people, Big B Daily Show, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time, live on YouTube, live on TikTok. If you're on YouTube, by the way, and you haven't subscribed to Big B Sports Talk, please do. Please subscribe. And tell the people over on TikTok how good the live and the interaction is. And matter of fact, that whole channel over there is crazy. So if you're on TikTok and you're not following, please, number one, please give me a follow. Number two, click on the YouTube link in my bio and come subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube. Come check it out. Lots of interviews, lots of podcasts, lots of fantasy football stuff, lots of other just interactive sports stuff that's over there. You get a lot for bang for your buck over there. Plus, it's free. So let's get into the Q&A section, people. Let's get into it. So I see somebody over TikTok said the Bills are back. The Bills are back. Thanks for the gift, man. Do y'all think the Bills are back? I don't know if the Bills are back. I don't know if they're back. But that was a good performance yesterday against a good defense. Now, it's not like they had to drive the length of the field for all these touchdowns, but I don't think that the Bills are back. I think it was just a good performance by them. I would give them credit. But you kind of knew it was coming, though, didn't you? Bad performance the week before, fire the OC. You kind of knew something was good. And the Jets are the Jets. I mean, I badmouth Baby Hands Pickett, and for good reason. But is there a worse quarterback than Zach Wilson that you've seen in the last 5 or 10 years that have been drafted so high? He is horrible. He is horrendous. Just a bad, bad quarterback, man. Whew. Man, he's bad. Just bad. Oh, here's a good question from my man, Zach Dialing over on YouTube. He asked this question. Who's on the hotter seat, Brandon Staley or Lincoln Riley from USC? Ooh. That is a good question. That is a good question. Who is on a hotter seat? Staley or Lincoln Riley? I don't know. I would say it's got to be Staley. Lincoln Riley just got a ton of money, so I think it's got to be Staley. Staley got to be fired. At some point, he's got to be fired. But Lincoln Riley underachieved like nobody's business. Like nobody's business. So, Kenny Pickett. There's a good one from my man Golf Hawk. Kenny Baby Hands Pickett. Tap dancing like Fred Astaire in the pocket and spinning into sacks is old. How do you get Justin Fields as our quarterback? I don't know. But you're exactly right. I made a post and put it on TikTok and on YouTube. Y'all should check it out. It's on a YouTube short of a touchdown that he didn't even see yesterday. A guy running across the middle of the field right in front of his face. He doesn't even see it. Kenny Pickett is just as bad. Man, he's horrible. I'm done with Baby Hands. I held on as long as I could, people. I held on as long as I could. But I am done with Baby Hands Pickett. I can't do it no more. I can't. So, I just can't. Fields doesn't fit the Steelers mode. Yeah, people talking about getting Justin Fields. That's not, the Steelers don't need that. We just need a competent quarterback. You don't have to be spectacular, although that'd be nice. I'll take one, but just be competent. Herbert is not going anywhere. He just signed for $1 million with San Diego or with the Chargers, so stop that. Signed for $1 billion with the Chargers, so he's not going anywhere. Notre Dame and the Steelers. Nah, I'm not really a Notre Dame football fan at all, and I'm not that big of a Notre Dame fan. But a guy that I grew up with, Michael Shrewsbury, is the head basketball coach at Notre Dame. So when you grow up with a guy, and I've said this a million times, and I'll say it a million more, you grow up with a guy that is a head basketball coach somewhere, then you put a damn pennant in your room. That's the way I feel about it. So, and I had a Penn State one because he was the head coach at Penn State until this year. Had to take it down and put up a Notre Dame one. It's just the way that it works with me. So, how has Staley not been fired yet, man? We are just talking about that, Nick. We can't figure it out. We can't figure it out. I mean, I have no idea how the guy keeps a job. No idea. Let's see. My man Evan, CJ Stroud, Rookie of the Year chances. I think they're 100%. At this point, they're 100%. I don't think there's anybody else that you can think of that would be the offensive Rookie of the Year over him. So right now, it's 100%. Obviously, life can change. The NFL moves fast. So we'll see. My man Quiggle, where you been, man? I'm glad you're back, brother. Thanks for coming back to the live over here on YouTube. Said the Bears have the worst coaching staff, blowing a 12-point lead with 3 minutes left in the game. Yeah, absolutely. Bears are bad. The Bears are bad. It's inexcusable. Inexcusable what happened. Inexcusable. And he'll be gone. Eberflus is not going to be the coach next year. That's not going to happen. And it's because the Bears do everything backwards. I mean, you hire a coach and then you hire a GM. How does that work? I mean, but it's the Bears. It's the Bears. Oh, my man Hooligan. Will Jordan Travis unfortunately slide in the draft? Think the Steelers should get him? Well, first off, let's just see how bad his ankle is. He's got time to go through, some medical tests and stuff like that. So we'll see exactly how he's walking around and what his rehab's like, all that good stuff. But, I mean, I don't know if the Steelers should get him. I mean, the Steelers need somebody that can play right now, not a guy that's coming off of a broken ankle, a severely broken ankle. I'm not worried about next year with the Steelers. I'm worried about right now with the Steelers. The Steelers have an opportunity, and they're blowing it because Baby Hands Pickett can't play quarterback at the National Football League level. So the Chiefs are overrated. Okay. My man, William Michael, tell me why the Chiefs are overrated. Let's just humor that. Why are the Chiefs overrated? And if the first thing out of your mouth is because the offense isn't scoring 35 points, then you don't know what you're talking about. So, but tell me why the Chiefs are overrated. Because I keep seeing this, Chiefs are overrated. Chiefs are overrated. But why are the Chiefs overrated? I mean, I don't get why people keep saying the Chiefs are overrated. If the Chiefs' offense was scoring 40 points, but their defense was giving up 38, and the record was the same, people wouldn't be saying that they're overrated. But because their defense is playing lights out and their offense is, let's call it struggling, because it is, they're still winning games, but people are saying the Chiefs are overrated. What are we talking about? What are we doing? Do we not give defenses any credit anymore? Man. Having said that, Eagles are winning the football game tonight. Having said that, the Eagles are winning the football game. Do you think Belichick could be the next coach of the Chargers? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If Belichick coaches anywhere else, it'll be on the East Coast, but it will not be for the Chargers. I can see Jim Harbaugh going to the Chargers. I can see that. I can see him being the next head coach, but not Belichick. So, how do you feel about the Texans? I think the Texans are great. I think they got away with one yesterday. The quarterback didn't play well. But you know what? Sometimes you got to get away with one in the NFL. That's what happens. So, Thanksgiving game, the Lions and Packers, the Lions should win that football game. The Packers are not great. Yeah, they won yesterday, but can we finally just say the Chargers are not any good? Can we come out and just say the Chargers are not good? Or are we still going to just keep humoring them along and just passing the buck? Can we just say that the Chargers stink? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? The Chargers stink. And their head coach is the cause of it. And their defense is not any good. Regardless of them having a few good players on it, the Chargers defense is not any good. So, the Chargers have talent. They're just stuck with a coordinator as head coach. Is he even that good of a coordinator? I'm not even going to go that far and give him credit for that. I'm just not. My man, Evan, thank you for the super chat, man. I'll put money where my mouth is. OSU will win against Michigan in Ann Arbor. Michigan has looked sub the last 3 games. 47 points. Last 8 games, 52 the last 3. I think Michigan wins against Ohio State. Obviously, we'll have more of Big B bets. The college edition of Big B bets this weekend is going to be nuts. We're going to come out with a whole bunch of college games on Friday. That we're taking Thursday off. We'll have Friday because I'm going to do all those crazy rivalry games. But I think that Michigan still beats Ohio State. I just think they're more physical than Ohio State is. And they're going to beat them. I'm not sure about Michigan's quarterback, though, J.J. McCarthy. So we'll see. But I think Michigan is just too physical for Ohio State. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be. Let's see here. What do we got? What do I think of Josh Dobbs' performance last night? It was okay. I thought Josh Dobbs was fine last night. He wasn't spectacular. You know, people are saying, oh, man. He threw for 221. He was okay, but he didn't do anything. And they lost. So now, granted, you could say the defense was holding the Broncos to 3 points. The defense was doing the job for Minnesota. I mean, they held them to 4 field goals. I mean, got to score more than 20 points sometimes to win an NFL football game. You should be able to do that. And they weren't able to do that. So, good question here. Was Mitchell Trubisky written off too soon as the Steelers QB? I say yes. I was all for Trubisky starting last year. I was all for it. And then they drafted Baby Hands. And then I thought, what are we doing, number one? But they're going to give Baby Hands an opportunity. And they made a mistake. My thing about mistakes, I don't mind mistakes. I don't mind front offices making mistakes. Although Baby Hands Pickett was not Omar Khan's mistake. If you guys remember. Omar Khan didn't draft Baby Hands Pickett. That was Kevin Colbert on his way out. So I will just say it's okay to make certain mistakes if you eliminate that mistake quickly. But if you let the mistake linger and linger and linger. That's where the problems come in. Time to cut bait on baby hand. 22 games, man. 13 touchdowns in 22 games. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And don't talk to me about Matt Canada. I don't want to hear it. Matt Canada ain't making the passes. And Matt Canada isn't reading the defenses. That is all baby hands, things that he cannot do. So, my man, Captain Mars. Gino has a sore elbow for Thursday's game. The media said, so that's pretty crazy. I don't know if Gino's going to play this week. I don't know if Kenneth Walker is going to play this week either. That's tough playing against the 49ers minus your quarterback and your running back. That's going to be tough. 49ers look like they got it back together. 49ers look like they got it back together. So, Brock Purdy looked good. I'm going to give the man his credit. I always gave him his credit. Brock Purdy looked good. But again, no game pressure. No game pressure. So Brock Purdy looked good. But no, you got to give Brock Purdy his flowers. The man did his thing yesterday. The man did his thing yesterday. You can't hate on what he did yesterday. You just can't. If you are, you're not being objective. You're being silly. You're being stupid. So, I'm not a big fan of Brock Purdy. But the man did his thing yesterday, man. He did. He did. So, my man Evan, he said he disagrees. Ohio State matches up well with Michigan. Well, I didn't say they didn't match up well. I mean, I just think Michigan is better. And you think Moore is way too conservative on his play calling and will cost them. He might be, but maybe he opens it up. Maybe he's been conservative because I can beat Penn State and I can beat Maryland without having to open up anything. I mean, that you got to leave that for the possibility. I'm saving everything we got for Ohio State. I'm saving everything we got for Ohio State because I don't fear Penn State and I don't fear Maryland. So, thoughts on the Michigan scandal? I think Michigan is starting to unravel a little bit. I think the scandal is starting to unravel a little bit on Michigan. And the reason why I say that is because look at why are you firing the linebacker coach? The linebacker coach didn't agree, or he didn't agree to comply with the NCAA, with the investigation, with the Big Ten. So they fired him. That means he knows something. And he's going to end up being the fall guy. You guys do know that, right? That the linebacker coach that Michigan fired last week is going to end up being the fall guy for all of this. For all of this. He's going to be the guy that gave the guy the okay, that took everything in. He's going to end up being that person. So, we'll see. But that's what I believe. That's what I believe. Going to be interesting, though. My man back. Casey Koss. What's going on, man? Thanks for coming back to the live over on YouTube. Oregon is the best team in the nation. Now, how many of you all feel that Oregon is the best team in the nation? I don't believe that at all. But it's not a horrible take. It's not horrible, but Oregon's not the best team in the nation. Here's the reason why. You can say, hey, they had some bad decisions that cost them the game against Washington. Bad head coaching decisions. I agree with that. And if he makes the other decision the other way, they beat Washington. I agree with that. But isn't he still the head coach? Isn't he still in charge? Isn't he still making decisions? So that's all I'm saying. They didn't change head coaches. So if he's still there, still making those decisions, you can't say that it was just a one-off because he's there. He's making the decisions. So my favorite college team are two. I love Kansas State University because I played there way back when, and the University of Louisville because I grew up in the University of Louisville. I grew up in Louisville. So those are my two favorite teams. So we'll see. Here is my man Hooligan. He is done with baby hands too. Canada and Pickett stink. Both need to go, but there's no answers in the building. You don't know that there's no answers in the building. You just got to get rid of the people that are in charge now. You got to get rid of the people that are in charge now and make a change. So, and no, you're right, Dirty Sanchez. The Steelers aren't firing Matt Cain. If they were going to fire him, they would have already have done it. Or they would have done it today, and they didn't do it today. So, my man Evan has a hot take, says Georgia is better than Oregon. How's that hot? That ain't hot. That's about as cold a take as there could be. So fire Tomlin is what somebody on my TikTok says. I'm not there yet, but I'm not that far away. I'm not that far away. Look, man, I love Mike Tomlin, but I'm tired of the mediocrity. That's number one. And I'm tired of the loyalty to a fault. That's number two. It's just that simple for me. Stop with the mediocrity and stop with the loyalty to a fault. See, look at my Browns people over on TikTok just giving it to me. And they should. They should. The Browns played conservative offensive football yesterday until they didn't need to. And they went and won a football game that the Steelers gave away. The Steelers did exactly what they wanted to do and had the ball with 1 minute and 42 seconds left with a tie score with an opportunity to go win the game. Instead, they throw 3 incomplete passes, didn't even attempt to throw the ball to George Pickens once, and run 14 seconds off the clock, give the ball back to Cleveland to lose. You can blame the offensive coordinator, which I do, but I blame more of it on Kenny Pickett because he's pathetic. And you can also blame Mike Tomlin. At what point does Mike Tomlin say, I don't care what play you call, if the ball doesn't get thrown to George Pickens, you're fired? You can do that. Doesn't make it right, but you can do that. And I'm not even saying that Pickens is the best receiver, but Deontay Johnson had nothing yesterday. So why not try Pickens? Try Freiermuth. Try something. So, Cowboys to the bowl, baby. I knew it wasn't going to be long before we got our Cowboy fans in here. I knew it wasn't going to be long. Cowboy fans are living high on the hog today. High on the hog today. And the Cowboys, don't they have 3 straight home games? I think they do, starting Thursday. So, I think they do. The Cowboys still haven't beaten a good team. So, they did play well against the Eagles, though, and you cannot take that away from them. But it's not about moral victories, man. Got to win. It's not about moral victories. Got to go win those games. Got to go win those games. So we'll see. What else do we got, man? Who is this? Evan G., who clearly is a Michigan hater. It doesn't matter if he's the fall guy. The NCAA will drop a piano on Michigan, like Roadrunner did to Wile E. Coyote. No, they won't. Evan, I know that you don't like Michigan, but I'm going to tell you this, and I want you to listen. The NCAA doesn't do anything to blue bloods, and Michigan is a blue blood. Ask Kansas. The NCAA had Kansas dead to rights. They had them dead to rights. They did it all. They couldn't deny it. Kansas didn't deny it. And they did nothing. They took away a few wins. That's all they did. Bill Self sat out 4 games the year before. That's it. Nothing happened to Kansas. And they cheated. They had them dead to rights on cheating. More egregious stuff than what Michigan is doing. And they didn't do anything. North Carolina, same thing. North Carolina made up a class for 20 years. They had their players going to a fake class. They didn't do anything. So, sorry, man. I know you want to punish Michigan, and I get it, but it ain't going to happen. And even if they do, Jim Harbaugh ain't going to be there next year anyway. So, he ain't going to be there next year anyway. What do y'all think about Miami? What do you think about the Dolphins? I thought the Dolphins had a good win yesterday, but I thought that game was more about what the Raiders look like than the Dolphins. Because I thought the Dolphins would score at least 40 points on the Raiders, and they did not. They were at home, and the Raiders fought. The Raiders fought. I loved it. I love what the Raiders are doing, man. I love what the Raiders are. They're playing hard for Antonio Pierce. They're playing hard. The remaining of this season, if they keep playing hard like this, the Raiders got to take a hard look at hiring Antonio Pierce as the full-time head coach. A hard look at giving him the head coaching gig. I believe that has to happen. So, really surprised Tua is healthy. Don't be surprised, man. Be happy that Tua is healthy. We don't want anybody getting hurt. So, Florida State or Washington? We covered this one earlier, my man. Washington has to be in ahead of Florida State right now. They got a better resume, a much better resume. Hell, the win on Saturday, Oregon State on the road is a better win than Florida State has all year. Throw Oregon on top of that, Florida State can't touch anything that Washington has done. They can't. And I know what people are going to say. Washington doesn't play any defense. All of that might be true. But it's based on resume, too. And they're undefeated in the best conference in the country. And they have a better resume than you. Florida State won't have a leg to stand on. So, yeah, I think Washington has the best resume, period. Yes. Without question. The best resume in college football belongs to Washington. That is a great point, my man. Great point. Who is that? Let me scroll back down. I went too far. But yes. So, it's not even up for debate. And how Washington was number 5 last week still blows my mind. Unless the committee just wanted to have some controversy. And if they're number 5 this week, then they're just basically saying we don't want any Pac-12 teams in the college football playoff. That's what it'll come down to. If they're not in over Florida State this week, tomorrow, then they should just come out and say we don't want a Pac-12 team to be in the conference football playoff. So, and if that's the case, then that's the case. So what do we got? Hurricanes on top next year, like the Miami Hurricanes? What are they on top of? I know they just took a loss to Louisville on Saturday. Week before, Florida State. What are they going to finish? 7-5 if they win on Saturday? Miami, first of all, Keegan, I'm sorry. Miami has one of the worst head coaches in college football. You do know that, right? Mario Cristobal is one of the worst head coaches in college football. One of the worst. Great recruiter. And recruiting in college is part of coaching. I'll give him credit for that. But if you're just talking about his in-game coaching, he's literally one of the worst. One of the worst I've ever seen. One of the worst that I have ever seen. Man. Crazy how bad they are, or how bad he is. Mario Cristobal coached some of the best teams in Oregon history. And how did that work out? How did it work out, him coaching some of the best teams in Oregon history? First of all, the team that is this year isn't a Mario Cristobal team, and they're better than any team that he coached. So that's right. He didn't win nothing. Didn't win nothing. I don't want to hear about it. But he did lose some games, like not kneeling when the game was over and the other team has no timeouts. He didn't kneel, and then they fumbled. So he did do that, and he did it again this year. So he didn't learn his lesson. So I know Mario Cristobal does that. So one of the worst coaches in college football. Bad football coach. Bad football coach. Somebody's just mad. It must be an Oregon State fan. So, because that's insane. Broncos country. Let's ride. I'm telling y'all, Russ is cooking. Russ is cooking. I'm telling you. Y'all need to look up Russ's numbers. Russ is out here cooking. Russ is out here cooking. I don't know what you all thought, and myself included, but Russell Wilson is out here cooking. Playing good football, people. Good football. So you got to give the man credit. Got to give him credit. So, hey, man, as a reminder, again, the Big B Daily Show, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time, live on YouTube. We're live on TikTok. We're going to shut this one down for today. I appreciate it. You guys, if you're on TikTok, man, again, please give me a follow. I appreciate it, man. But more importantly, click the YouTube link in my bio. Jump on over to YouTube. Anybody that's on YouTube and you're not subscribed to Big B Sports Talk, come subscribe. I know you guys jump into live every day. We love it. But subscribe to the page as well. We appreciate it. Make some comments on the videos, man. So I appreciate you guys joining today, man. Appreciate it. No show on Thursday, as a reminder. No show on Thursday. It's Thanksgiving. I'm going to be in my turkey coma. Y'all know me. I'm 75 pounds down, but Thanksgiving, I'm diving into that turkey and dressing, bro. I can't help it. I'm diving into it head first. I don't even pretend like I'm going to eat well on Thanksgiving. I'm not even going to pretend like I'm going to. That's why I'm not eating nothing now. That's right. Turkey is healthy. Now, the dressing and the macaroni and the mashed potatoes that I'm going to dive head first, that ain't healthy. But I'm going to dive into it. But you know what I'm saying? I'm 75 down. I got 75 more to go. But no show on Thursday. No show on Thursday, man. And you're right. Thanksgiving, there's so many sports that are on starting today for the rest of the week. We're going to have a lot to talk about tomorrow, Wednesday. I will be back on Friday. So everybody come back on Friday. Hopefully a lot of y'all are off work on Friday. Come back on Friday and we'll go from there. But for now, I appreciate you guys joining, and aloha.